Hey guys, Jen here with Chaos and Grace. Today I'm going to share with you my 2019-2020 curriculum picks for my third grader. Okay, so Jackson is my third grader this year. No surprise here if you've seen my other curriculum hauls so far, we are doing the good and the beautiful. So everything else that I have for my language arts for my kid are all their printed version. Jackson's I actually printed myself because his falls into that it's free printable range. Every language arts level, I believe it's level 1. Is it level 1 through level 5? Maybe it's level 2 through 5. I'm pretty sure it's level 1 through level 5 is a free printable for their language arts course. It comes with the flashcards, the mini books, and the reader. The mini books I have printed a few times now, and I can never get my printer to print it right. So the mini books I'm going to be purchasing separately for that, but everything else I have already, and I either printed out or I had from his previous level already. So I keep his language arts in this 3-ring binder. It's got some pockets in here and it zips. So there are a lot of things in here that he's gonna be like writing out and doing some map tracing and some art projects and things like that, and I would really like to keep everything in one spot. One of the levels that we have done already had a lot of work with pastels. So if you read ahead and you notice that pastels, oil pastels, chalk pastels are on that list, the way I have stored them in the past is getting a 3-ring binder like this and then those sleeve protectors so you can still keep the artwork throughout the year and it's not a gigantic mess getting on everything. Now, language arts has always been something that's been difficult for Jackson. It's not really a big surprise because he is dyslexic. But I have found, even going through other bigger, more expensive curriculums like All About Reading, it's a great curriculum. It does a wonderful job. I like how it's structured. But with Jackson specifically, he just does not work with his learning type with this. What I love about this for him, as well as with all my kids, is there's a lot of moving parts to it. So you'll find one day he's getting up and moving and doing more kinesthetic learning, and the other day it's more art-centered, and everything, even though you're switching subjects, it still pulls from the different things that you're learning within the language arts. So you still have your spelling that you're doing daily. You still have some poetry memorization you're doing daily. You still have handwriting in there. So in the level 1 course, you are going to find phonics, reading, spelling, writing, grammar, punctuation, literature, and art appreciation. So I've seen a lot of questions out there on how to use this curriculum. It says right in there how to teach it. And the goal for it is to do 30 to 40 minutes every day, 4 to 5 days a week. It gives advice on how to work with multiple children. It gives advice on how to break it down. You do not have to do that to a T. You work with what works within your family and for your children, but it does give you some suggestions and ideas on a place of where to start. Last year, Jackson did the good and the beautiful handwriting, and it was a little too intense for him. But Jackson does have beautiful handwriting, but the assignments for the Good and the Beautiful's handwriting are a little lengthy. So this year we are going to Handwriting Without Tears. This is something that I had from way back when Wyatt was learning this, and this was an extra book. Jackson asked me last year to start writing in cursive. Cursive is something I want all of our kids to learn. I think it's very important. So we are gonna start with this. In case you're not familiar with Handwriting Without Tears, you can see how you learn one thing and then it builds to the next thing. So everything flows really well. And I think that would work really well for Jackson and how he learns. For math, Jackson has been teaching textbooks. He loves doing computer math, as he calls it. He excels with it, so we're just gonna continue on with that. He started level 3 a little later in the year, so he's gonna be finishing level 3 and moving on to level 4. I'm guessing he'll probably have level 4 done by the end of the year though. The other thing I'm gonna do for math is musical multiplication. You get these 4 books, set A, this is B, C, and D. And this instructional card with what to do with it. Now there are these songs that are MP3 versions that you go online. You get a link emailed to you after you purchase this, and you can go on there and download those songs. And those downloads for every book. And once you are done with the book, you move on to the next book. In the back, there's flashcards in there. And I've seen people just cut these out completely and keep them separate from the book, or just cut across the dotted lines and you use them as kind of like a flip chart. So since Jackson is working on multiplication this year, I thought this was a really good thing to add. So for science this year, we are going to have a mix of things. Last year, I kind of ditched a formal science curriculum, and that worked really well for us. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do this year. I'm not doing any one set formal curriculum. I'm gonna do pieces of things and put it all together into our own thing that just kind of works well with our family. I have Apologia, Land Animals of the Sixth Day. I also have the Junior Notebooking Journal. And what I do with this is I pretty much just give them topics. I say, oh, let's look at the types of animals you can learn about. And they pick from that. And then we will take parts of the lesson that come from that textbook, and we'll either pair the notebooking journal with it, or I have got some nature journals that I do. They're just kind of mixed multimedia notebooks from Walmart that I got for maybe $5. And we write our own notebooking pages in there. They color, they'll dictate some things that they've learned from that, and I will write it on there. I throw the date up there for reference, and we're good. We'll also watch some maybe documentaries or docu-series on Netflix or on YouTube. Another thing we're going to be working in is the Good and the Beautiful unit studies. We started marine biology back in about January. We have not finished that, so we will finish our work in that. And there's a couple other unit studies that they have that I really want to do with them too, so I'm going to try and fit those in. For history, Jackson and Caleb are going to continue working in the Good and the Beautiful history. We started year 1 last year. This is the course book and the big book of stories that goes with it. Throughout the course book, it gives you little assignments to do, and there's little MP3 stories that you go online. It gives you the code for to go on and listen to those that go along with the story. With elementary years in history, I do kind of the same thing I do for science. If there's something in history that they're really latching onto and really want to know more about, I go with it. So we will go do the field trips, we'll go watch the movies, we'll go read the books, we'll do everything that we can do. We'll just kind of hyper-focus on that for a while. And then I made a timeline back when we were doing Mystery of History, and I will link an iCard for you guys to check that out so you can see how I did it. But Mystery of History actually suggested taking a sewing board, you know, the ones that fold up, and writing a timeline on it so you could use the timeline cards. So I still have that timeline on the sewing board. And anytime we do something, we'll just stick it up on the timeline. So even if we're not doing it in a chronological order, we still can see where in order everything goes. The other thing that comes with the history curriculum is this game. Keys of History is the name of the game. Comes with the game board, comes with the game pieces, comes with these cards. So each one of these cards gives you a topic, and then on the back, it gives you 3 ways to do this. To be honest, Jackson and Caleb could not care less about the facts. What they care about is getting around the board first. So we'll do that. They still have fun with it, and they're still at least exposed to that information. Whether or not they're retaining it, it's at least familiar to them. So I just have to be good with that. So something totally new that we're doing this year is doing typing. We are gonna start typing 1. Again, this is the Good and the Beautiful. I'm going to just have Jackson and Wyatt start this. Wyatt is gonna be my high schooler. I know high school and he has not yet done typing, but he's learned some other things, but his typing definitely needs an improvement. So we are going to go with this too. But they do, like, look at that tiny little lesson there, and then they put the sticker up there when they finish the page. This is something I like. You buy once, so you don't have to buy it again. So something I started this past year is starting our day with art. I started doing this because in doing more research and just trying to understand more about dyslexia, I kept coming across information that says starting with something like art, just even a brief little lesson, or doodling or drawing or coloring, something artistic, kind of warms up the brain for the things that they need to learn to retain. And I did find for Jackson that does make a difference, and my other kids really enjoy it too. So these are the things that I'm going to be using for Jackson, just kind of no rhyme or reason to it. He can just flip through the pages and see what he sees that he likes to do, and he can work on it. So I usually give him like 15-20 minutes to just do some art and to doodle or color or draw or whatever he wants to do with this. But these are the books that we're going to be using this year. This we started last year. He didn't do too much because I found out at the end of the year. We did have another one of these, but this one is color. So it gives you a prompt, and then you write or draw in there. This book I love. This he will not draw in. I will make copies of this and put it into a journal for him. It gives very clear and simple how-tos to create different things, or he can just create whatever he wants, but it gives them all the little drawing tips and things for him. He really likes to draw and doodle, so we'll definitely be using that. Probably a lot. As for music, we do not require our kids to learn an instrument. If they have an interest in learning an instrument, then we definitely encourage that, nurture it, and they learn. Ukulele, piano, guitar, recorder. We've got a handful of instruments that he can learn on and practice with. Jackson did take a recorder class in our co-op this past semester, so he'll probably keep working with that. The last thing we're going to be doing is continue learning ASL. American Sign Language is something that we have learned for several years. We start our kids at infancy learning it just to help with basic communication skills, and it's something that we really want them to be fluent with and be able to use out in the world, either personally or in work. If you look up Bill Vickers on YouTube, or lifeprint.com, I believe is what it is, they have great resources on there. And I will leave the links below in the description box for you guys to check that out too. I will also list the links for everything that I've mentioned here today. That is it for my curriculum choices for 3rd grade for 2019-2020 school year. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the videos we put out, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.